The night the curse began, the sky burned an unnatural red, and the wind screamed through the valley like it was mourning something not yet lost. People would later say it was fate, or madness, or the will of dark magic, but for Elara, it was the moment her life cracked open and spilled into a future she never asked for. Love was never supposed to survive that night. Love was supposed to die quietly, buried under fierce spells and silence. Yet somehow, against every rule written in blood and ash, love refused to disappear before the darkness. Elara's world had been simple. She lived in a small stone village pressed between forests and rivers, a place where days passed slowly and people believed tomorrow would look much like today. She worked with her hands, helped her aging mother, and dreamed of nothing larger than peace. Then there was Rowan, the man whose presence felt like sunlight cutting through fog. He was steady, kind, and carried a quiet strength that made others feel safe without ever needing to prove it. Their love was not loud or dramatic. It grew gently, like roots beneath the soil, unseen but impossible to tear up once settled. But the village had always feared the forest at its edge, especially the woman who lived deep within it. The witch was an old story parents used to scare children into obedience. Yet when crops began to fail and illness crept through homes, fear demanded a target, whispers spread, and the witch's name was spoken again, heavier now, filled with desperation. Elara never believed the stories, not until the night the villagers marched into the forest with torches, and Rowan followed them, not with hate, but with a desire to stop what felt terribly wrong. That was the night the witch appeared, not monstrous as legends claimed, but furious and wounded, her power crackling like lightning tearing through the dark. The spell she cast was not wild. It was precise and cruel. It did not kill. It separated. When dawn came, Rowan was alive, but something inside him had been sealed away. He looked at Elara as if she were a stranger, his eyes empty of recognition, his heart locked behind a wall of magic designed to erase love. If this story already stirs something in you, if you believe kindness deserves a chance and love should never be erased by fear, take a moment now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more stories about second chances and the strength of the human heart. The days that followed felt colder than winter. Rowan moved through the village like a ghost, polite but distant, helping where he could, never cruel, yet never reaching for Elara's hand again. She watched the man she loved become someone hollowed out, and each day chipped away at her spirit. People told her to accept it, to move on, to let time heal what magic had broken. But time only sharpened the ache. Love did not vanish inside her. It burned hotter, fueled by grief and stubborn hope. Elara began to notice things others missed. Rowan still lingered near her home when he thought no one was watching. He still flinched when she was hurt. The spell had silenced his heart, not erased its instincts. That fragile truth became her anchor. She started leaving small reminders in his path, not words or confessions, but actions. She helped him with work without explanation. She cared for him when he was injured. She stood by him during storms, offering quiet presence instead of answers. Slowly, something began to shift, not in grand gestures, but in the smallest cracks of the curse. Meanwhile, the village suffered. Guilt spread like rot beneath the surface. Crops worsened, sickness returned, and fear turned inward. People realized too late that cruelty had consequences. Elara listened as blame passed from one person to another, and she understood then that the witch's spell was not only punishment, it was a mirror. The village had tried to destroy what it did not understand, and now love itself had been wounded. Elara made a decision that terrified her more than loss. She would go into the forest alone and face the witch, not to beg, not to threaten, but to understand. The journey was long and punishing. The forest seemed alive, testing her resolve with twisting paths and haunting silence. Fear followed her every step, yet love pushed her forward, steady and relentless. When she finally reached the witch's dwelling, she expected rage or violence. Instead, she found exhaustion. The witch was powerful, yes, but also deeply alone, carrying centuries of betrayal and pain. Elara did not accuse her. She spoke of love stolen, of a man trapped behind magic, of a heart that refused to give up. She spoke until her voice broke, until tears soaked the forest floor. The witch listened, unmoving. When Elara finished, silence stretched between them like a blade. Then the witch revealed the truth of the spell. It could not be undone by force. Love erased by magic could only return if it proved itself stronger than the curse. If the one who had been bound chose love again without remembering it, it was not mercy. It was a test, cruel and uncertain. Elara returned to the village changed. She knew now that she could not save Rowan by clinging or pleading. She had to let him choose her again, freely, blindly, without the comfort of memory. It was the hardest thing she had ever done. She stepped back, gave him space, stopped waiting for signs that might never come. She lived fully, helped others, rebuilt what fear had broken. She became strong in ways love alone had never required before. Time passed, slow and heavy. Then one evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in gold, Rowan approached her. There was confusion in his eyes, and something else, fragile but real, without words, without explanation. He reached for her hand, not out of memory, but out of choice. The spell cracked. The moment was quiet, almost ordinary, yet the air shifted, as if the world itself had exhaled. Rowan did not suddenly remember everything, but warmth returned to his gaze, and love bloomed again, new and unburdened. The witch's magic had failed not because it was weak, but because love had grown beyond the shape she tried to destroy. The village slowly healed. People learned humility. Fear loosened its grip. Elara and Rowan rebuilt their life not as it was, but as something stronger, forged through loss and faith. Love was no longer just a feeling. It was a choice made daily, deliberately, bravely. As this story nears its end, if it has touched your heart, if it reminded you that love can survive even the deepest wounds, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and stay connected by subscribing to the channel. Before the final words fade, we have a special request for you. Please comment below and tell us whether you believe love is a feeling, a choice, or both. Your thoughts matter, and your voice becomes part of this story, because somewhere out there, someone is fighting a curse no one else can see, holding on to love when everything says to let go, and maybe, just maybe, your engagement, your kindness, and your belief will remind them that no spell is stronger than a heart that refuses to stop loving.